Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the North American ESL Pro League. My name is Blue. Joining me here is Mega Man. We're about to get started with our first match of the evening, which is going to be Enemy/Selfless GG. The new name, I believe the name change is still processing for it to be used in the Pro League, and they will be taking on CLG. Mega Man, let's talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, Enemy coming off of a decent night last night, back-to-back wins for them, closing it down, doing a nice job. They've actually got one of the better records in the Pro League at the moment, even with the absence of Kusta on the roster. They're sitting at 5-3, which actually puts them #1 in the league right now, but they've also played the most games. You've got Optic at 4-0, Luminosity at 4-0, Renegades at 3-1, so on and so forth down through the line. CLG, however, is 0-4 in the Pro League right now, so they have been off to a very rough start. They lost their openers to Cloud9, and then they got completely dismantled by Renegades. Renegades beat them 16-5 and 16-6. They got 11 total rounds in that matchup. And then tonight, they're going up against ex-Enemy on Overpass and Train. So we'll see if they can recover it all. But, I mean, this could be really the signs of them, if they're going to have a really struggled season or if they're going to actually be able to recover.
It's a bit weird with CLG because they just came back from that game show land and they were showing some pretty good promise there, having some fairly decent games versus high-tier European teams, but then they come back and then they just perform awfully in a lot of these online games. Most specifically, Tarek, I think, was really dropping the ball a lot as of late. We did see some good things in that last game for the DreamHack Malmo qualifiers where they played against Cloud9 and they absolutely dismantled Cloud9. Like some really good things from Tarek once again. However, there's no guarantee at all that is going to be continuing here tonight, moving in from Sunday night. So we'll just have to wait and see, essentially, as to which CLG is going to be showing up today. Is it the one that we started seeing after that LAN, or is it going to be the CLG that was starting to show us some very good things at the LAN itself? But we are going live now, guys. Enemy's going to start off on the CT side, and CLG is going to jump on the T side. And we would like to provide an advance warning for you guys tonight as well. Both Mega Man and myself are both currently in the middle of a lightning storm. So it is possible that at any point this evening, one of us or both of us would drop out, leaving you with only one caster or no caster at all. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah, that's a fair warning. And actually, to kind of add on to what you were talking about in pregame about the whole Tarek thing, I've really noticed a drop-off in his performance ever since the nerf to the M4A1S. That's something to kind of note. Same thing with Fur on Luminosity. I haven't seen him as impactful and as big of a player as he was in the past after they nerfed that M4A1. So kind of interesting to see how some of these players have been impacted in their fragging roles because of the changes that they've made in the game.
So to start the pistol round, Fugly going to get aggressive inside the connector, moves up, grabs a nice headshot on a Nifty. That also killed the only kit this team had too. That's now stuck nowhere in a position where the guys from Enemy are going to be retrieving it, but they're definitely not playing a retake for the site now, as they've tried to get aggressive, most specifically towards the A portion of the map. But the guys on CLG are going to be moving into the B bomb site. Falls mainly to Relic to try and hold things to the CT side. He's got his two teammates rotating down. He picks him a nice headshot here on a Cutler, moving out from the pit, finding a second one, looking for a third on a JDM. He gets some damage, but he's given time to fall back right into the arms of Tarek. But he too is going to end up getting traded out by Uber as he shuts him down. They get into a 2-on-1, which Uber's going to clean up. Nice hold from Relics, buying the time he needs for his teammates to rotate in.
Really nice round there from Enemy, and it really comes on the back of Relics slowing that push down for as long as he did into the B-bomb site, getting a couple of nice kills, softening up one of the other players, and Uber coming down, getting that refrag onto Tarek, and then also picking up the more powerful P250 to go along with his armor, and that is really a force to be reckoned with at that point. So he cleans up the round, and you can see Relics, we kind of talked about him last night with his UMP, especially on Mirage last night, where he was going kind of ham sandwich with that. So see if he can pick up some more good kills with that into this round.
Fugly now going to be moving down inside of the connector too to start the movement forward for the guys on CLG. Not a lot being brought to the table this time, of course. Just a little bit of utility and some armor behind their pistols. The main line catching hazed already. JDM looking to pick up some kills himself, but only going to be able to find about half of the HP off of Nifty. He's now just going to be falling back, smoking things off. kind of counteract the push that we might be seeing from CLG, but these guys are now still playing this very, very slowly, taking their time, looking to line up some headshots, and any kills that they may be able to find here. They're just not getting very lucky at all. Is now Tarek up on top. He might actually be able to catch mainline if he keeps peeking it, but there we go. Tarek's already fired the first shot. That gives away the fact that they should be boosting him, and I highly doubt mainline's going to want to test that again.
Yeah, there's no real reason for him to jump up and take an unnecessary risk in that situation, so he's going to bide his time. Now they're going to start peeking out. They're going to start throwing out the nades that they actually bought up into this one. Bank is smoked off. CT spawn is smoked off. Nifty with the MP9, though. He's going to go down. Nice shot from Fugly. Still looking for some more, but the crossfire is very strong in the back of this bomb site. And Tarek is going to go down to the main line as well, and Relic's going to finish off the last 2 kills on the round for him. One with the ump, one with the USP. So that's a little bit of money in the bank for him. 2-0 now for the Selfless squad. Remember, EnemyGG is now known as Selfless, so keep that in mind for the rest of this. If we do call them enemy, we don't actually mean that. But nice start to this matchup for them so far. They minimized fatalities. I think they only lost 2 players into that round, or maybe only 1 in Nifty, so good job from them.
CLG looking a little bit sort of timid or scared there at the end of the round as it would have been. They want to move forward, but they're not sure who's going to be the first player to move into the site. So Enemy are just able to take a huge advantage of that one. And this time it starts off, it's a grinder over here at the beginning of Short A. A 4-for-1 trade. They almost find Nifty. He manages to get out of there with about 7 HP, but just like that, it's all done on Cutler. He's retrieved a rifle, but he has no grenades and no armor sitting behind it. And with everybody on Enemy more than likely moving out to hunt him down in a second, we're not really going to be seeing him being able to accomplish too much.
Yeah, the only benefit is the fact that he has his bomb on his back, so he doesn't have to go in and retrieve that. But you can see they knew that he was over here by the bathroom side, so they've already filtered things out. They've already pushed a player up. Uber's up in that avenue. If Cutler comes back around from long A towards bathrooms, he's going to meet 1 player over there, and then there's another one over here by CT. But Relics, they've actually yielded this bomb site. Nifty could get flanked out. He's going to go back and actually check for it, but if he goes down, they might get the bomb plane out of this. He's
going to die at least to it. So as he rolls in there, there we go. He spots it. An Uber. Quick reaction to help his teammate out. Getting just into the position there towards long A takes him down. And although he did have a bit of a moment there to try and lurk his way on towards the A-bomb site and find the plant, it's going to pass. He'll get knocked down, and the guys from CLG aren't really going to find anything there. However, now they get the guns into their hand, so we get to see how they party, of course, with the op on a JDM, with armor behind it too, and the rest of the team with the AK buys.
Yeah, so this time around, they've at least got the op. Nifty's got his op as well, and we saw him opping with that last night, and he actually was pretty solid on the CT side. We actually saw them on this map last night as well, so we'll see if he can do the same as he did last night. His CT side opping was very, very good. His terrorist side rifling was very good, and he was one of the players that clutched out a lot of rounds, and Fugly actually taking a little bit of nade damage over there by the stairs as well, so a little early find for the CT side of Selfless.
Fugly in the same position he pushed in the pistol round and where he found a kill previously too, is going to be moving up, trying to look for mainline around the corner, but he's outside, finds a first pick up there, but mainline responds, finds his second to take down Tarek. JDM sitting up in party, he almost gets knocked down too. He's down to 16 HP now, so mainline's going to feel great backing out of here, despite the fact that Nifty's just going to throw a smoke right into his face, but that shouldn't matter too much.
Actually took 3 HP off of him.
Yeah. If he had been a little bit closer to that, that almost would have been a TK. But thankfully, it's not the case. And for the guys on CLG, they're going to be backing down to rotate for the B-bomb side anyway. And they'll be going up against Uber and Lucky to try to control this.
Yeah, and regardless of that situation, losing Relics early in the round, that was actually a really nice save there from mainline, finding those 2 kills and not dying. I mean, he's got 13 HP, but he did 280 some odd damage. And now Lucky's actually going to get caught out. Hayes opening things up. Nicely done from him. Finds 2 back-to-back kills lightning fast. And now it's going to be Nifty and Mainline who try to make something happen. Molotovs and flashes come out. Mainline's going to be able to take down JDM. So now they don't have to deal with that pesky op on this retake. But one of them is so incredibly low. And they're actually going to boost up over top of this. And they don't spot Cutler in the pit. And that is just going to be insult to injury. Cutler's going to finish things off here. 2 kills for him. 2 kills for Hayes in the first round on the board now for CLG.
Yeah, Cutler read them like a book at the end of the round. They knew that they were just going to try to do that boost exactly in that position, too. His crosshair was already trained and aimed in on that. So an easy kill to go in his direction, and then the final one only has 13 HP, so an easy closeout there. Nicely handled, and some great entries coming out there, too, to get them into that B-bomb site when they were still just stuck down in the 2 versus 4. No way they were even going to be given enough time to react to that and try to even it back out. So great plays from CLG to turn that round back on its head and put it into their favor. So now Enemy, though, still having another investment. Not going to see an op on Nifty as he's not really able to afford that right now, but CLG have 2 ops. We'll see how they play with this one. As they're going to get aggressive inside of the connector. Hayes picks up 1 kill, but Nifty's traded out 2 more, and he's got control of the bomb now.
Yeah, that's the biggest part about this is that they actually got the bomb down here in connector, and he smoked things off too. And look at where the rest of the terrorists are. They're so spread out. Tarek over here looking to come down through connector, JDM long range, and then Cutler's got an op over here at the B bomb site. So this is going to be extremely hard for CLG, especially with the 2 ops and Relics in this prime position, just waiting for Tarek to walk on by, and he's going to get one for free. And now Cutler making noise over here by ladder. He's going to take a shot, and Nifty damn near finishes him off. Somehow he manages to get back up, but Uber with a little pre-fire around the corner is going to be able to make that job complete. Now it's all on JDM coming back around the backside of the connector.
JDM popping out, finds a first kill, but he's boxed in. He didn't even realize it. Nifty jumps down, finishes him off. And there you have it. Enemy strike right back to pick up a 4th round for themselves. Did you see that play at ladder? That was like a Zoidberg thing. He like slipped down, made a lot of noises, ran away, like whoop, 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 right up the steps, trying to run away.
Little Three Stooges action going on.
Yeah, nicely done with Uber on the pre-fire though to stop him from getting any further than that to maybe look for a save or relocating to a better position. But this is going to break the guys from CLG, and we're going to see basically a minimalist supply here now. P250s and the 2 Glocks. They're not bringing anything to the party this time around, so enemy should have a pretty easy walk in the park.
I'll tell you who wants to party this round is it's going to be Uber. He's picked up the MP9. He's looking to put some money in the bank, and he just barely doesn't spot Cutler over there in the water pit. Now it's going to be a quicker execution towards A through bathrooms, and mainline might get overrun. He's got to turn his attention and actually hits a nasty little flick there and takes down JDM. Now it's going to be Nifty to try to chime in. He's going to be able to find one and done. Cutler now coming on the flank through the smoke. Might catch out Lucky, and he does. So that's another little find that they have, but mainline's still alive. Uber coming in with that MP9, and now it's all down to Cutler, and they know exactly where he was.
So Cutler's the last player alive now. Not really a whole lot of real estate to try and work his way around, but he's going to push himself over towards A just to look for the bomb pickup. But it's the same situation that we had before. He's picked up a rifle, but he has no armor or anything, any sort of utility sitting behind this. So he's just easy pickings for anybody he runs into. He might actually be able to find mainline, and yeah, he does, because mainline is completely overexposed, pushed out of the site with only 5 HP. That's basically asking to be punished there. So that's another kill these guys pick up. And regardless of the outcome now, they've already done a great amount of damage to enemy. But the big problem for Cutler now is going to be getting into this bomb site. Still a little bit cautious of someone potentially lurking around him for a flank and whatnot as well. He does not have enough time to fall back and go down towards B. So it's all about just trying to go for it here.
Well, he did have enough time. And if he actually runs, he can still make it to the B bomb site. I believe it only takes about 15 seconds to get down to that bomb site from this area. So he's going to go for this A bomb site. He threw a flashbang over the top, but this time around it's going to be Uber. And now he gets spotted. Now he's going to try to go for the plant, but Uber's going to push on in behind this. Uber goes down. One more to find, and it's going to be Relics. Relics does manage to find that frag, and he's also got the op to carry into the next round. So that got real scary real quick for enemy.
Yeah, and obviously, like I was mentioning before, way more damage than necessarily should have been done to enemy that time. So it's going to keep their economy very manageable here for CLG. And they should not have too much of a reason to worry as of yet, as they're going to be going into another gun round here. Still a little bit light on the utility than I would like to see. But from the strats we're seeing here from CLG, they're not really anything super complex that would require amazing amounts of utility to try and execute here. These have been pretty straightforward strats so far from CLG, so this requires the entry power, and that's where they've been faltering a lot of the time, is enemy just beating them in a lot of the aim duels.
And so now it's going to be Nifty with the op down on the Monsters side. Doesn't spot that player that's out around the corner there, so that's going to be Cutler again, just lurking over here. That's the new role that he has on the team, is the lurk role. This time around, it's going to be Relics boosted over here by Bathrooms, just looking for any attention to come out from this side. And Fugly over there in Connector might actually poke his head out, and if he does, it might get taken off here by Relics.
Fugly's been pretty good, though, at finding entries from this position. He's going to peek out there, spots it, but it's not like a full peek, so he's able to get himself back inside of the connector there. And that, in itself, is going to be enough to scare the enemy guys back. This combined with Nifty spotted the play towards A long, but these guys are still going to be stuck in bathroom area, so as Tarek lurks in there, he has a free kill into Relics, takes him down. But look at the one on the Nifty, too, and Nifty is spotted running away, so Tarek, he finds 2 kills for free. Big mistakes now from enemy on their timing, and Hayes moves in, just shuts down mainline, and this round's virtually already over now. These final 2 are completely out of position, working at 2 versus 4. Retake is going to be highly unlikely.
It looked like a little bit of miscommunication going on the enemy side right there. You know, they got the kill at long A. I mean, if you kill one over there, you got to assume that there probably is going to be another one. But then Tarek is just able to run up. I mean, he didn't even walk up out of long A. He ran. and they still didn't react to it. So Relics gets shot in the back. Nifty goes down on the shoulder peak, and then Mainline follows the suit in bathrooms because he's just going to eventually get overwhelmed by terrorists in that area anyway. So CLG able to put their second round on the board. It's pretty clean as well. Only JDM goes down, and Tarek gets an AWP out of it, so they're going to be able to put the AWP back into Josh's hands and move forward into this round. But now it's down to 2 rifles on the enemy side. The rest of them are probably going to be on a save unless they decide to force up. Relics can buy a FAMAS, and Lucky can throw over a rifle, so they might go for a buy up here.
Yeah, with the capability to force 2 more, wouldn't be the worst decision in the world to try and go for it here now. But at the same time, they haven't been so good on just keeping these guns in place, so I think they're actually going to try to build up their economy to a safer position now, which is why we're seeing most of these guys just going for a save. Relics, of course, is a little bit more cash, so he can afford the upgrade towards a 5.7, but for the rest of these guys, they're just going to take P250s into this round, and they'll try to play it a lot more aggressively too. You can see them specifically on that B bomb site starting to move out a lot, and down here towards A, we can see Nifty pushing out just inside of the bathrooms there, but Mainline having some trouble getting out of the fire, it seems. Puglin's gonna get a free kill there. Uber trades it, but then JDM picks up another one, and Tarek, almost caught out there by Nifty. He jumps, repositions himself, and although it's a little bit of an ugly duel for him, he still manages to make it out of it with 13 HP.
That would have been a big frag if Tarek actually goes down there. Now Relics is going to get swarmed. He's going to get caught out. Hazed is going to take that fight and win it. And now it's all down to Lucky. He does have an M4 and 100 HP, but he's so far disconnected from where all the action is happening, being over the A-bomb site by himself. So probably not going to really be able to do too terribly much into this round 1v4, but he is in the right place at the right time right now. And if they push in towards that B-bomb site, A-bomb site, which it looks like they're actually coming towards, there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
They're mainly like hunting him down right now there too. You could see after they had killed the second to last guy that everybody sort of spread out to look for him. They don't want to let him save this rifle again, because it's going to be like I was talking about before. They've been holding a very good control of the CT economy, and letting them save a gun is going to save Lucky specifically a whole lot of cash. So they're going to work their way in. You check him behind the APC up, but he fires a little bit too early there. So JDM with a quick response shuts him down with the op, and there we go. 3rd round's up on the board for CLG.
That's unfortunate right there, because if he would have let JDM go on by, he might have been able to prevent the bomb plant. And subsequently, not necessarily won the round, but I mean, it still would have been a good look for him to at least take a couple more guns out of the hands of the CLG side. Now, we've got a pause coming out, likely from the Selfless side, as they've lost 2 in a row now to CLG, and we'll have to see if they talk things over for the next gun round, because it looks like they're still in a safe situation, 3,400 for Mainline and Nifty. So barring any kind of investment into this round, we'll probably see a 5-4 scoreline.
Pretty sure that they're going to go for the save here too. They haven't been able to give Nifty the opposite yet, and this is most certainly a round where it's not going to be possible unless Lucky buys it, tosses it over, and that would leave Lucky without any armor. So not the best decision in the world to try and go for that here. More than likely going to have to call for the save here, because like I've mentioned already, we've just been seeing these guys have very lackluster buys up at this point. They haven't been able to bring something up. The problem in the reverse end of this is if they do force again, they can still keep a lead going, and they can try to deny CLG more round build up here. And along this as well, they can just build up the economy naturally over time. But the rounds they have won when they've gone for forces have not been the cleanest one, which is what has prevented them from building up to a certain point where they could give Nifty that up and give everybody these full utility stacks every round. But they are going to decide to go for the force here. So we'll see how this decision proves for them. It's actually going to be really bad if they don't win this too, because they're essentially looking at a tie now, as they'll be going directly onto another save after this.
Yeah, so this is a real big risk here in the first half right now for the enemy side, and this is probably what they were talking about going into this round. Do we want to go for a buy? Do we want to risk everything early on in this matchup? And it looks like they're going with the yes on this one. And look at this, they boost up, and Fugly is watching for it.
It's already 1 down from enemy, and they should know that there's another player in water. They actually, no one's pushed it like to try and take him down yet, so he's going to be sticking around here. Just takes the duel with whoever would come his way, but for the time being, that's going to end up being no one, as they molly things off inside of Connector 2 just to make sure that Uber doesn't end up following them. He's just stuck here. He should be allowed to go back up to the B bomb site, as there isn't a lot of pressure coming towards water itself, but now the pressure is going to start to roll in through Monster, and Relics getting the barrel there on that spray. Cutler's going to be able to take him down first. Uber does respond, but he too is going to get knocked out pretty quickly by Hazed. And again, another situation here for enemy where they're forced into a save because the take from CLG, it's just an explosion play. All 5 players out into the site at once, and they're going to be able to get the plant, and the final 2 are given literally 0 time to rotate down.
Yeah, so this is a safe call now for the CT side of Selfless. Tarek is on the hunt right now. They should be able to hear this main line coming around the side of bathrooms. Tarek is up in a forward position. If he peeks out, he might get caught. And he does. Tarek does take him down. Nifty is there for the trade. Should be able to get an AK out of this, but now they know exactly where he's at. So he's going to have to work his way back into a different position here. Otherwise, they're just going to come around the side, and Fugly is already working his way up. And there's the peak, and Fugly finishes him off. So now we see that money reset, and this one hurts worse than the last one did, because now it's going to give CLG an opportunity to tie things up at 5-5 and start putting together a really solid T-side half.
Yeah, so Enemy going to pay the price for this one now, too. Like we were talking about, like I was mentioning before, that Enemy were doing a really good job at actually winning a lot of these opening duels, but it's sort of flipped now. CLG have woken up. Quite a few of their players have. Fugly most notably here now as he's leading the frag total, but a lot of his other teammates just sitting right behind him at 6 kills. Everybody's been doing a much better job with picking up these initial frags. And unfortunately, it's been leading to Enemy just getting knocked out of these sites time after time again because people that are initially on those bomb sites just cannot defend them or they miss position and it hands over the sites for free. So they're actually going to spot this stack inside of the connector, but it's not going to matter despite the fact that they got mollied out of position early. Uber and Nifty still managed to grab a 2-for-1 trade and 2 rifles for free. So not a bad start here for Enemy in a full save round.
No, not at all. Nifty's got an up as well. Uber's got the AK, so that's a really nice find. And Nifty can make something happen here with the up no armor. This could be huge. And you can see they've actually pushed back into the B bomb site, and they're going to rotate everybody off back up towards A, where Tarek is actually already up in bank. So he manages to find the first one under Relics, but they still know exactly where Tarek is. If they can box him in, this could be a little bit dangerous for him. He is still working the backside of this very, very nicely. He could surprise those two players in Uber and Lucky as he's working his way around bank smoke.
They just heard him. He's making too much noise there too. He's sort of giving away the illusion. Nifty though gets Cutler a shot walking directly into it. Tarek is somehow still up and going here. He shut down Lucky and he's got Uber at 3 HP. So Tarek is doing some serious work over towards the A-bomb site. He's having a frag day here. Picks up Uber and he's going to get himself a duel with Nifty too as he's rotated him back up. So Hayes is going to be able to just casually walk to the B-bomb site, get a plant for free. And Nifty is up here just wasting his time right now. The beta's worked. They don't even need to get the bomb down. Tarek gets a 4K in this round. Great play from him. And there we have it now, tied up at 5 rounds for each team.
Yeah, he somehow manages to make that one work, and that was really scary for CLG. If they would have ended up getting one more kill there, if Uber gets that kill on Tarek, that is really, really rough for Hayes to try to defend himself in. Even though he would have a lot of time in order to plant that bomb at B and get into a good post-plant position, he didn't have an idea as to where that second player, Nifty, was at the time. So, Tarek taking those aim fights, ends up winning them both. So, nicely managed by him. 5-5, though. The scoreline tied up. Now we're back into a buy round, and Nifty's going to have an up. This time he does have armor behind it.
So CLG back to the slow style of play now, but Enemy with the rifles getting a lot more aggressive here, most notably Nifty inside the bathroom connector. Has a supportive mainline sitting directly behind him, but he's already picked up 1 kill. I don't think he's noticed how close Tarek is to that bathroom connector, though. So he's going to push inside of it. Mainline picking up a first kill, but both of their teammates have the backs to them. As Tarek's going to roll right in there and mop the floor with both Mainline and Nifty. Great sneaky play for him to catch the trades there, although he does screw up the Smiley a little bit, tossing it into the site. That's not really going to do all that much, but the smoke is much better position. He has not noticed Relic sitting behind Semi, but he should be able to pick up on his position now from that flashbang, and in fact he does. That's his 3rd kill in this round, and the other 2 are going to attempt to rotate up, but Cutler cutting Lucky off. It's all down to Uber now, and he's trapped, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They know exactly where he's at, so he's going to go out, takes the duel with Cutler, he loses it, and CLG now take the lead.
That's 7 kills for Tarek in the last 2 rounds. Cutler on that lurk roll, fighting the last 2 as well. Cutting the head off the snake right there. That rotation not even able to come to fruition just because he's got that superior positioning pushing on through that smoke on short B. So you can definitely see that Counterlogic Gaming definitely favors towards the A bomb site on this map. A lot of the strategy that they have seems to be taking control of the stairwell and taking control of the bathrooms and long A, while Cutler does this neat little lurk over there at B. So Cutler's been very effective with this so far. Fugly, though, coming under fire. He's going to go down, and now it's just going to be a quick push towards B, and it's going to be Lucky to find a second frag. He knows that Hayes is over here as well, and JDM cleans up another one. And actually, Lucky gets the dink. Uber finishes him off. Oh, but coming out through the window. You spot him, but they can't finish him off yet. And a nice shot onto Tarek. Oh my, down to a 1v1. JDM with the AK now. He drops the op over to for an AK. And now he's going to get in the face of Uber. Uber has no idea he's coming on the flank, and he actually hits the flick and takes him to 9 HP. That was about as close as it can get, folks.
If that had been on the head, dude, that would have been a huge clutch for him to grab there. It's already shown us some great stuff last night, but starting to show some good stuff here too. As now the guys from Enemy are going to start to fall behind to quite a large degree here too, but the economy's finally built up to a point where thankfully they're not really struggling just to get the M4s, the OP, and all the utility that supports it here. They don't really have any excuses anymore when it comes to their economy. It's all about these strats and these initial aim duels. That time in that last one there, CLG as well just did not have any time to screw around. They just rushed it right into the site, took all these duels, took quite a few more losses than I think they were expecting to, granted, but still win the round at the end of the day. So they're just looking to crush Enemy here and take control of the lead as we come to the closing portions of the first half.
Yeah, they definitely took a lot more fatalities than they wanted. They actually almost ended up losing that round. Nifty, though, going to open up onto Cutler. Now he's going to be watching the back lines. He's going to find Tarek. There's another one over there that's going to be Hayes. Now they got to watch out for coming through the smoke again. It's Fugly. He's going to find them both. That's twice now that they've given up their backs. But Relics was able to pick up 2 more over there at that A bomb site. Now it's all just down to Fugly.
Yep, Fugly now just going to go for it, it seems. And he is getting flanked here pretty quickly by Lucky, too. So he's got to move into this bomb site. But he's got no flashes or anything, so just goes the slow path. He doesn't have enough time to check the bank, so it's Uber with a quick clean out there. An Enemy not done with this just as of yet here, too. Picking up the round quite nicely, but the guys at Enemy, when they make these aggressive pushes out towards the bathroom or short A or wherever it may happen, you just noticed that's like the second time in 3 or 4 rounds now where that's happened, where they haven't had anybody watching behind them and they just get opened up upon by a flank. That last round was Fugly. A couple rounds back it was Tarek. So this is happening time after time again. So they've got to be careful when they try to do these stacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smoke. It's not a wall. They can still run through it, and they've done it twice on him now in 2 separate rounds, and it ends up almost costing them the round. It cost them 1 round for sure. This last round, they were just lucky enough to have Relics on that rotation to shut down the players coming from long A, and they weren't able to capitalize on that mistake of this backstab. But, I mean, like I said, it's not a solid wall. They can run right through it, and they've done it twice on him now.
All right, so Enemy holding back actually a little bit this time. I think maybe learning the lesson a little bit, as both Mainline and Relics not necessarily going to be pushing to a big degree out from that A bomb site, just sticking a little bit off it there to watch out for the initial push coming towards short A. But it's actually not really going to come in that direction too much here early on in the round. They do get smoked off here at the entrance to long A, so not going to be able to spot any of the action going on there. The Relics not wanting to test it there. He fires out, and he gets a response back from Tarek. So they do know there is a small presence here, which Enemy, or apologies, CLG will be looking to execute upon here over the next few moments. But Mainline, tired of holding back, he pushed directly up, found a nice pickup on towards Fugly, and has already safely retreated towards the A-bomb site too. So a good hindrance later on in the round that CLG is going to have to deal with.
It was actually a pretty nasty no-scope that he hit there. He was in the middle of a weapon switch when that peak came out. He ended up losing a lot of life on that one, but it's going to be okay. Now they got to worry about Cutler still lurking over here at the B-bomb site. He's going to make his presence known with some footsteps pushing up behind the pole, and Nifty is going to be ready for him. Pounces on that opportunity and takes him down. Only takes 6 points of damage from that as well. And now they get the head spotted. Relics jumping from the back of the APC, but he is alone over here. He's going to have a lot of work, and he actually is coming out on top. He finds the first one. That's going to be the bomb down. Coming around the corner, Tarek, though, is going to find a second one. Looking for a third, but he doesn't peek in towards Bank. JDM chimes in with one of his own, and now they've got to watch out because JDM's got the op on the backside of the site. Nifty's going to miss the shot, and now they can get into a good post plant.
Yep, JDM falling back. Now he's got eyes in the bank position. Lucky moves in, finds the kill on a Tarek, but JDM has himself posted up right now. They spotted his position over here, sitting behind the boxes, but he doesn't realize that we can see Lucky creeping up on him. And with such low HP sitting on JDM there, it is going to be an easy execute. But things were definitely getting dodgy there for a moment on Enemy. Not going for the push on the Tarek when he was going for the plant. Did not want to challenge JDM despite the fact that he was sitting at a 2 versus 1 there. Thankfully, they still recover from it though and handle the retake quite nicely. So we're going to be tied up again at 7 rounds as we come to the last round of the half.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really liked about that 2v2 retake was the fact that Mainline goes over towards Optimus side or truck side and gets the kill on a Tarek as soon as he's done planting because they know that JDM fell back out of the site having an op and everything. And then Nifty jump spotting from the backside of the site actually gets the intel on where he's at, does a little bit of shoulder peeking and actually shoots once to provoke JDM to fire one of the shots from the op so that Lucky can get in his face and get that kill. So nice little bit of teamwork going on between those two players. So it's really good to see that.
Tarek again is going to be the leading force now. They've kind of retired Fugly from it as Tarek, he's on point tonight. Moves up, shuts down Mainline, shuts down Nifty. What's great is they keep peeking him too, so they're just going to keep feeding him frags early on in the round. Relics has tried to fall back a little bit behind the smoke at least, so he might be able to catch Tarek on an off angle, but he's still outside of it. In the meantime, elsewhere on the map, Cutler is doing some work. And the guys from Enemy, unfortunately, just don't have too much to respond to it now. It's just on Relics, who was the only guy towards A that was able to actually successfully avoid Tarek earlier on. And he's the one that's picked up the kill onto him, too. But now he's working a 1 versus 3 because the B site defense had just completely failed.
Yeah, and now this is where it gets really, really hard. He actually smokes himself out so he can get a little bit of an angle on this one, maybe spot somebody over there in the bomb site, and Hayes is actually just going to shred him. So takes him down 8-7 CLG with an advantage going into the second half. However, EnemyGG, or pardon me, ex-EnemyGG, Selfless, we'll have to see what they've got here on the T side, because looking back, at least on last night's match, which was on Overpass, they won 16-11, and they got 7 rounds on the T side. That was where they actually found a lot of success, so we'll see if they can emulate that once again and bring things back.
They were playing Splice in that match, correct?
Team AGG.
Okay, AGG. So same sort of theory still applies here. The problem though for Enemy is that for the most part we're still seeing, and this is on a lot of their maps too. I've been sort of checking them out over the past couple of days. The problem for Enemy is that their T side still tends to be a pretty like straightforward T-sided team on a lot of these maps. So if CLG are going to be able to catch this and read a lot of these plays, then they might not find as much success. Keep in mind, they were playing AGG last night, which is another roster that's fairly new, just starting to get together, just starting to get the leadership established. So the CT side, you can sort of expect it to be very weak when you're going up against a team, but for CLG, I don't expect this to be the case. And when you have players like Tarek on point tonight, it's going to be a much, much rougher battle to fight than it was last night.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of the things, they're a very one-dimensional T-sided team. I believe really the strategy that we saw them do most of the time was pretty much sit 4 guys outside by the water fountain at the top side of mid, and then just let their lurker go over and try to make something happen over at the B bomb site. So with those kind of strats, I mean, it's pretty one-dimensional across the board, but just waiting for this to go live into the pistol round. This pistol round not as important as some of the other ones that we have seen. Could see 11-7, could see a 10-8 scoreline depending on how it goes, but one way or the other, it's not going to be an insurmountable lead that the other team cannot come back from. So this is going to be a pretty good matchup, very close right now. And then the next map, like we were talking about before, is actually going to be on Train, which is a map that I probably in the past would have favored Enemy on. However, with them not having Kusta anymore, I'd say CLG has got a little bit of a leg up on them.
All right, well, let's get into it, guys. The second half starting off right now. CLG versus Enemy once again. For those of you that are just joining us, and Enemy, we'll see what they have to throw at CLG here. But so far, they're off to a pretty hot start, picking up 8 rounds on that T side. Fugly going to be able to spot the play coming in through Connector, but it's coming in his direction. So he does not want to stick around to fight this. He hightails it back over towards the A bomb site, and he's going to leave it down to Cutler, along with JDM to do the fighting now, pushing out from long A.
Yeah, and this is a big push coming out from the CT side, but look at this flank coming back around from the T side. Cutler's got to get himself out of dodge right here, but Nifty is going to pick up 2 back-to-back headshots, takes both JDM and Cutler down, so it's a 2-for-1 trade. Even though they lost main line early on, they're able to answer back into this round. It's going to leave it on Hayes, Tarek, and Fugly to try to shut things down, but 2 players still over here at this B bomb site, and Fugly just trying to jump spot over here at A. And look at how far into this bomb site these B players are. You've got Tarek down in the water pit here by short B, and Hayes watching for the squeaky door push on short B as well. So they're pretty disconnected from this player in the A bomb site, and Fugly just jump peeking, trying to hold him back for as long as he can.
They want to line up a flank more than likely here, but the problem is Nifty's already read this. So if it does end up being executed, then they're going to have to get through Nifty, and then of course Enemy will have plenty of time, because assumably they would have the bomb planted already by this point. So they would have plenty of time to get into their post plants, but just the lengthy amount of time it takes to actually get yourself through there. But now we're going to see it come into fruition here. Tarek indeed does go for the flank. Hayes is actually just going to fall back inside of the B-bomb site and move in to assist Fug because he's very low to AHP, and Uber's going to take him down. So they need more than one angle to make this retake happen from. But nonetheless, it's not really going to be a big surprise because the guys from Enemy were already looking out for this a few seconds ago.
Oh, and Uber actually working his way in towards Bankside. If Hayes comes back around the corner, he should, well... He didn't, as I was saying it, he was going to go down. Tarek is on the flank. Yeah,
he didn't see Tarek moving into the bathrooms, or hear him for that matter, so he doesn't even like attempt to check the other direction. That's a free death against his favor. However, he's down on a 1 versus 3. They do have him surrounded, so it is easy to close up there, but Enemy going to lose one more player. Thankfully, it's just the pistol round, so not any big losses, but now it immediately gets tied up, of course, at 8 rounds again. And CLG going to go for the forced investment, it looks like. Fugly buying out completely, and I imagine the rest of the team will do so as well, with the exception of JDM, who does need to save a little bit more cash to be able to go for that up on the first gun round.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Cutler does pick up the scout. JDM going to be on the full save, so this is the investment that we're going to see. 2 Desert Eagles, a P250, and a scout. A lot of SMGs on the board here from the EnemyGG side. They've got about 1 billion bullets to work with here in this round. They've got a MAC-10, a UMP, and 2 P90s. So that is a lot of SMG rapid fire arsenal to work with. Nifty's going to pick up an AK because he did manage to pick up 2 kills in the last round there. And Nifty actually top fragging right now, 18 and 13. He struggled a little bit, but he had some really nice clutches last night. So it's good to see him starting to come into his own now, because he was down at the bottom last night. 16 kills on Overpass last night, or yeah, 16 kills for him on the entirety of Overpass last night.
So actually a lot like we saw from CLG in this first half too. The guys from Enemy, or Selfless as they're now known as, just going to be taking it super slow at the beginning of this first round, where they have the advantage over CLG. Being extremely cautious. Keep in mind, if you're not checking the correct angles here, this could actually end up being worse for you. It's because of the fact that JDM is going to be sitting inside here. They spot him, he just goes in firing and is going to give his own life away there. But sitting a little bit further back, he was sort of acting as the early warning system now. I wanted to try and get some intel, but I think the smoke was still blocking off a little bit as he died, so didn't really get a good idea as to how much of a concentration from Enemy we saw up there. Could have just been 2 guys screwing around. And actually, to try and throw them off a little bit, since they did get spotted there, they're going to move the bomb down to try and go for a B take. But Fugly's read this. He's rotated down. However, he's immediately brought back up due to a flashbang that's tossed up on that site.
Yeah, and this is just mainline with this SMG, just pushing in, trying to find something. But Uber goes down. He's going to get caught out by that Desert Eagle at Terex. Nifty goes down as well. So Hayes making a little bit something work. Now Fugly's going to be able to find one. It's all down to Lucky now, 2v1, but Fugly very disengaged from his teammate. Lucky is going to be able to capitalize onto Hazed. But time expires, so the CTs end up winning anyway.
A little bit awkward.
It's hella awkward, man.
So CLG responds by waiting things out. And for Enemy, of course, they do not want to take this lightly at all. A forced investment immediately comes in from these guys. Nifty includes a P250, a little bit of a lighter investment. However, again, same story. He needs to be able to afford the op, so he can't buy up as heavily as the rest of his team. And it's just going to be a rush train for Enemy, to be completely honest, at least until they get up towards water. I imagine they might slow it down a little bit here to try to set the smokes, but you just saw Hayes jumping over. He's ready to try and set something up there, and he's already spotted a lot of these players too, so you can already see the counter reaction coming in from the guys on CLG that pushed out towards A. They're starting to rotate down, so Enemy are on a timer here.
Although they do trade things back out, Hayes finds Uber, but Mainline and Lucky get on the board. They're going to be able to find a couple themselves as well, so nicely done. They've got the bomb down, so now that acts like an extra player on the field that the CTs have to worry about. Nifty being in this tight, cubby corner, they're going to molly him out. He is going to be forced to peek, so he can't get any damage out. Nicely done by Fugly, but JDM goes down to Mainline, down to Cutler, and Fugly to try to make something happen here.
Timer getting very low, though, so they're not going to have a whole lot to make this retake happen. Fugly picking up a first kill, rushing inside of the pit, and they're looking for the second one, but Lucky just going to clean up both of those kills with the P90. Nicely done by him. And Enemy, like we were saying before, they did not want to take that loss of the round very lightly at all, so they strike right back. And this game is going to continue to remain very, very close. It's already actually forced CLG to basically be out of cash here. They're just sitting just below 2K on all of their players. The only ones above it is Fugly at 3.5, so it's definitely not advisable to go for another response force here. They're just going to take this one. Cutler's the only player that buys anything with a P250. They kind of have to bow down now and let Enemy take the lead.
Yeah, which is a shame. Those trades of rounds definitely do not favor the CT side whatsoever. Now you've got Uber getting aggressive behind this. He's going to find out a little bit of damage. Cutler's going to be over here in connector. He's going to get spotted out and taken down. Mainline is going to finish him off with the assist from Uber. And Uber has found about 52 points of damage onto JDM as well. And they're still hanging out here close up. Uber's actually going to get himself down into the connector. Opts to come on back up and try to chase down some of these kills. They've got 2 players very low in bathrooms. JDM and Fugly both trying to get themselves out of here, and Uber's going to be able to capitalize on one, looking for the second, and he gets it. And there's one more to beat over here at this A bomb site, and that's going to be Tarek behind Optimus, trying to make something happen here. But that bomb all the way back at Fountain in the top side of mid. And Uber not checking his angle, gets the jump headshot anyway, and that's 3 kills on the round for Uber. He's going to be your last man standing all the way at B by himself.
Just no response at all, it would seem, for CLG. Uber's that last guy. Uber's that guy that just rolling in there, taking everybody down with a P90. And they're easy pickups, player after player after player. Even that one against Tarek, too. Tarek should have had an easy lineup, as they thought it was clear on that site, but definitely was not the case. However, Uber managed it anyway. And now you're just looking at Hayes as your last man up. And same story for him. All he's got is a USP. So he's just waiting for someone to push in his direction, hoping he can get lucky with a headshot here. But as he moves out, hey, what do you know? He actually does. Finishes off Uber, taking him down. And he'll find at least one gun here. The rest of his team is actually pretty far away from him. But Hayes is going to be running out. He might find himself in a duel versus Nifty, but it doesn't actually look like Nifty wants to take the battle either.
No, not at all. And the funny thing about this whole matchup going into this one is if you would have asked me what the odds Enemy had against playing this close or beating CLG on Overpass during last season, I would have probably laughed at you because this was one of CLG's best maps last season. I mean, even going into the off season and some of the tournaments that they've played, they've been able to beat some of the best teams in the world on this map. And then, like, I don't know what has happened to them in the past like 3 months, but they have just nosedived into the dirt.
Yeah, just hasn't been. I mean, like, I think they had some pretty close results at the game show LAN. I think it was against Envious, correct? And it was on this map.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I think it was against Envious and against G2.
It's literally been only in like the past 2 weeks, and it's not necessarily like that this map has suddenly become a crutch for them. It's just that the rest of this, like the entire team's sort of cohesiveness is just broken apart, and we haven't really seen them recover from the completely of it. We still see these good spouts from them here and there, like we were seeing sort of with Tarek in that last half, but you're still seeing a lot more weak spots as well, unfortunately, and they just haven't been able to recover from that as of yet. I don't know what the reasoning for that is, but for whatever reason, they dropped the ball completely after that LAN.
Yeah, and I have no idea what's going on with this team right now. I'm not sure. But, again, it's like I said, I mean, previously, CLG on Overpass, this would have been a surefire win, with the exception of maybe playing against Liquid in the North American division or against Luminosity. But a team like Enemy, they should be able to take them down no problem. Somehow Tarek's still alive in the pit here. I don't know how he stayed alive so long, but he gets a dink out onto Lucky as well after taking down one. Now he's got to be careful. Lucky over here on top of that pit. He's going to get blinded out and taken down. Cutler's going to be able to find that one. Bomb has been planted at B. 3-on-3 retake situation now for CLG.
Still a lot of smokes covering it, though, so Fugly going to be a little bit cautious moving in, but he pops out, finds Relic completely unawares of the situation to take him down, but now they're still running out of time. They still got 2 players off the site. Mainline's going to get eliminated by Cutler, and Nifty trying to push in too, but Fugly takes him down. There's a molly over the bomb. Cutler can't move in to defuse it just as of yet, so they're going to jump right on it there. They've got enough time to grab this here. It's going to be Cutler finding the defuse there, and of course, now we'll be tied again at 10 rounds to 10.
Yeah, but with that bomb plant, they still have the money in the bank for the enemy side to be able to continue to buy into this round. So it's going to be AKs on the board. They might even be able to put an op in Nifty's hands if they decide to go for it. And that is what they're going to do. See how he fares opping here on the T side. JDM going to get aggressive here in bathrooms. Look for that early pick over here by Fountain. Let's see if he pushes all the way up. They might be expecting save, but he is getting very aggressive behind this. They smoke things off. He's going to hop on top.
But in the meantime, everybody from Enemy is going for a quick control of both the connector area along with pushing out towards water here and then eventually moving that on towards construction. Kind of going to hang out here over towards water a little bit, not move anywhere. So it gives CLG the time to figure out what the heck is going on, and also a lot of time to investigate over towards Short A, Party, and the Fountain area there too. So they should know pretty quickly here that there's not really going to be anything played towards the A bomb site. And Enemy is giving them all this time to investigate without really moving out to try and get any intel themselves. They're sort of just hanging around here, running the clock down.
Yeah, and we saw what happened the last time that they ran the clock down. That ended up being bad, didn't it? So, a minute left, 10 to 10 tied up. They're going to work the bomb in towards the B bomb site. You can see everybody's all gathered up here. There's no smoke on short B. They dropped the flashbang over the top, and the first casualty is going to be Tarek taking down Lucky and Mainline. There's the peek out. They've still got to get rid of Tarek down here. Uber is going to be able to do that. So it is going to be a 3-on-3 again over here at this B bomb site. There's a player. Oh, no. They had the bomb all the way down in Water Pit. Now they've got to get Nifty up there to try to get that bomb plant. Although he peeks out at a great opportunity, he does find that frag on a JDM. So that's the up-on-up duel, one here by the T side. And now they've got to deal with one on the short B and one coming from CT spawn. And Nifty has got a great angle here, but Cutler is going to peek out. They've still got to watch out for this smoke push that is possible from Fugly.
They haven't even spotted as of yet either. They have no clue he's moving in. That's a great pop flash. Goes directly onto Nifty. Allows Cutler to peek out safely and find another kill on towards Relics. But Nifty is still holding, hugging the very short corner there. Takes down Fugly. And now all he has to do is finish off Cutler too. Cutler moving back in, but he's not going to be able to close out the duel. A big clutch from Nifty. And Enemy keep their lead going strong here. But is it actually going to be enough to sort of ring out CLG? Or are they still going to have the confidence to go for a force buy? And it looks like they'll be forcing it up. Not going to be the best one, however. As for 3 out of 5 of these guys, at least, all they're going to be able to afford is just upgraded pistols with armor sitting behind it.
How many times last night did we say great clutch from Nifty?
Was
it
Nifty,
had to have been.
It's actually, it was Nifty and Lucky, so it was like the 2 newest players from Enemy. Because Lucky's only joined the rosters as recently as the minor, as he filled in for, I cannot remember at this time. Who was it? Wow.
I'll have to look it up.
Do you remember?
I'd have to look it up.
He hasn't joined another team. This is the worst part. You normally can remember these things if they move to another team, but he hasn't. Well, anyway, that's awkward. So, the player he filled in for at the minor, and then of course Nifty filling in for Kusa. That's a name we can all remember.
Anomaly.
Yeah, that was who it was. Anomaly. So these 2 guys are doing some serious work, and Relics too has been showing up to quite a few of these games. He's been a pretty consistent fragger. It's been Uber, ironically enough, who was the player that started to step up as of the recent weeks, is the one we're sort of not seeing now that they have the newer roster starting to formulate.
JDM, though, going to find a nice opening. Uber trades that back, but Tarek coming off a short beat, catches Relics out in the water pit. So, again, the trade of frags going the way of the CLG side. His mainline was already eliminated early on. Uber going to try to make a stand for this one, and they still have Nifty alive with the AWP, who's bringing that bomb back around towards the B-bomb site. So, going to be really tough for Enemy in this round. I mean, it is a armor pistol buy, but Fugly has salvaged an AK. Cutler's got the FAMAS, and Hazed, even with this 5-7 playing really passively back here in the backside of the B-bomb site. But that's a nice shot from Uber.
So just taking it nice and slow, hoping to win the race through that. As they push themselves up towards B, what they haven't checked for as of yet is Haze, and he's crouching down right now, trying to get the tiniest little tidbits of info that he can use to abuse, and I'm not actually sure. There we go. Nifty took a shot, but it's too late. He's pushing up. He takes down Uber, and now Nifty has another chance to clutch in a 1 versus 1. He's going to push back out here. 7 seconds left. Needs to go for the plant. And we can see Cutler just going to drop right down to the pit. He wants a close-up duel. Nifty's only got a P250, so it's going to be pretty tough if he has to pull that out. However, Nifty trying to fire that shot. It goes through the safe plant position. Has him down to 15 HP, but he cannot find the last bullet that's needed. So Cutler is going to end up winning it out there. Gets a free out for his troubles. And of course, we'll still have plenty of time to defuse the bomb.
Yikes. That op shot from Nifty looked like it should have clipped Cutler through the wall. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect. And then the P250 spray down. Little bit rough on that one. But nevertheless, 11 to 11. This one is very close up. But that bomb plant is going to allow them to at least armor pistol into this round on the ex-enemy side of Selfless. See if they can do anything into this one. You can see Nifty's got a full nade set. Yeah, this is about as big of a buy as it could be. Nifty doesn't opt to go for the armor because he wants to get the op the next round. So he's going to sit on that 1650, but this is a full buyout from the Selfless side.
So JDM can obviously hear this big corral of players sitting over towards water again, but what the players from Enemy didn't realize was that JDM was sitting in connector. There's a first shot. The second shot is incredible in the main line too. Catches that on the flick. Tarek's going to move in, trying to stop Relics from finding the plant. Takes a little bit of a spray down there with the Tech 9, but he's going to be able to execute him. And this time, Enemy's plan to just try and rush themselves onto this B-bomb site has gone absolutely nowhere. Uber, in the meantime, is visiting things over here in the tunnels connecting the A and B bomb site. But it's not like he has anywhere to go. It's like he rushed through and then he realized that the house is on fire, so he ran outside, and now, well, he's trying to stay away from the fire, but the fire's coming to him. There's no way to run from it. Holds off for a little bit here. Shuts down Fugly. Looking for Tarek to tap around the corner. Not going to be able to find that kill. And Tarek eliminates him.
Little unfortunate on that one that they couldn't get more out of the round or anything out of the round really at all. 12 to 11. Now it's going to be a full save from the Selfless side, so we could see a 13 to 11, and we could see this start to snowball now in Counter Logic Gaming's favor. We could definitely see them get on the board with their first win of the season right here, right now. A couple of upgraded pistols here for the enemy side. JDM again going down here into connector, but there's going to be all 5 players coming around here from short, and I would love to see them all barrel down into connector. This could be really scary for JDM. Oh man, he's got to run. They're going to push that Molotov. Woo! Woo-hoo! Firing squad.
It's odd that was actually don't go back outside towards water. They're actually going to fall back to the upper tunnel now and just try to reevaluate their position since mainline finds this op. But all it's done now is, of course, they're all bundled together, so it's not like we're going to be able to go for a pretty proficient split push. CLG should be able to read this quite nicely and try to box these guys in, but Enemy turn this into a bit of an execute now too, as we can see their players starting to split up. They're going to try to do something more advanced with this, so this is interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. Group up behind this AWP, let one of their players go and lurk, and that was actually Relics, because he's only got a Glock to work with in this round, so his life isn't the most important when they can work behind this up in the hands of mainline. Now, he's not necessarily known as an opper. I would love to see that get tossed over to Relics, since he is kind of the number 2 opper on the team here. However, they could potentially open up the bomb site and then get in the face of Hayes, because he is only on an MP7. So if they can take Tarek down or take Hayes down over at this B bomb site, this could be a great opportunity for him to make something happen.
HG gets tossed in, going to do not a whole lot of damage here, but the flashbang going to connect directly on towards mainline. Hayes, though, does not want to take the risk on peeking out towards it. There is another flash. That gives away his position, but he's blind, cannot find the angle. Again, isn't necessarily peak for it. So Tarek, Hayes, wrapping up the kills. This is going nowhere. Mainline snuck in through one, but Tarek leaps in the dirty knife, shuts down mainline, gives him a little bit of a bonus there. And CLG are going to find a 13th round being picked up.
Money in the bank, baby. Money in the bank. Tarek, he's going to pick up the M4. He's got $5,900 left after that buyout as well. So 13 to 11. Are you mad? Because I'm not mad.
Bringing that in from the FPL. So
got to.
So Enemy starting to fall behind pretty badly now, and for like you were talking about before, CLG having a bit of a snowball. However, Enemy are going to get at least one more chance to try and stop this, and like we were talking about before, things are reverting to a very basic sense once we see them get dropped down. So they're already just trying to push themselves out towards the B-bomb site. Tarek shutting down one of them, but he does get overwhelmed by Lucky. Hayes as well only manages to catch a 1-for-1 trade. So this is going to cause an attempt at a quick rotation from CLG, but they're pretty outmatched right now here. We can see Nifty has even placed himself over here in the lower tunnels. He's going to watch out for a push from Cutler, but switching guns, the worst timing possible there on Nifty. Cutler's going to find that kill. Now it's going to be a 2 versus 2 as Mainline manages to take down Fugly just outside of Monster. As well, you still have one up in heaven here. So trying to make things work, as this is definitely a palatable situation, but they need to get themselves onto this site very quickly since they're running out of time.
Yeah, JDM coming down to the water pit. Mainline taking down Cutler. It's all going to be on JDM. Hits a really nice shot onto Uber, but doesn't realize that Mainline is already in his face, and Enemy are going to walk away with that one. So still on the brink right now. They're going to have a very limited buy into this round. The AWP gets thrown over to Nifty. He was the low bank on the team, so that's going to be okay. He's going to be able to invest fully behind this. Mainline still had reasonable amount of nades after that round was over, so this buy for Enemy, not bad. The buy for CLG, last chance to dance for them. They need to win this round. If they lose this one, we could see Enemy get up to 14 and potentially walk away with this matchup. So, Enemy, after again, they've tried 2 of these force plays in a row here. And of course, the last one doesn't really end up going. The last one obviously goes a little bit better, but they want to try to keep things varied. So now they're going to go slow things down to a certain degree and hope to catch some of these guys from CLG out in the open. But CLG, at least over towards the B-bomb site, not moving anybody inside a connector and whatnot this time, as they have been earlier on in this half. JDM, outside of Monster, is going to be the one to pick up a first kill. Snatches Uber out of the play here and puts things down to a 5-on-4. Yeah, he actually managed to do that with minimal damage to himself. Nifty over here on long A, he's looking for something at that range, but can't find the scoped rifle kill just yet. But there it is. Mainline's going to be able to catch out Fugly, getting a little too aggressive for his own good in the bathroom's connector. And now it's going to be the off of JDM to go to work. Mainline does go down, so it's a 2-for-1 trade now favoring CLG. And again, I stress the importance of this round. If CLG drop this round, Enemy is going to be on 13, potentially 14, but JDM is not having any of it. He gets a 3rd on the round now, and that leaves it on Relics and Lucky working back towards this B-bomb site where they still have to contend with Tarek and Hazed.
30 seconds left on that clock too, and they barely touch this site, so they're gonna have to move in blind essentially. And as they wrap the corner, there's Tarek, catches Relics with a nade out, and then Lucky follows directly after that. Fortunately, Enemy, these executions just not going in their favor. CLG bounces right back with another round being picked up here. Resets Enemy, not going to have really any money left here. It's all over the place, but most of their players sitting just around $2,000. And CLG able to build themselves back up too. Same story as the last half. Again, CLG doesn't necessarily have a good economy picked up, but their rounds are much more consistent. So they're able to keep the lead going for a much longer here. And of course, encroaching upon 16 rounds is not even going to matter anyway, how close or how low they are to being bought back down, as they're just going to win the game outright. But JDM picks up that first kill on the main line, spots this play coming, and there's 2 players stacked inside the connector steps. Another round for Enemy that just does not go anywhere at all, as it's a grinder sitting directly outside the entrance to short A.
Yeah, that's nicely done from CLG. They're on map point right now. And again, remember, we do have it's a doubleheader for these guys tonight. We've got Train coming up after this one is all said and done. But CLG, this is a big force buy here from the enemy side. Should be too difficult of a round for CLG to finish this matchup off. And JDM, again, he's going to get aggressive behind this smoke at the top side of mid. And this time around, they drop a flashbang, so he's going to resign from that position for the time being.
So Lucky's going to get pushed now by Fugly, but manages to take him down. There's more pressure coming in his direction, but they went for that little bit of a stack inside of water again, so they're actually able to recover from it this time. Unfortunately, Tarek moves in, finds the trade, takes down Relics. He's going to get pushed by Uber in a moment. Uber looking over towards Toxic, so Tarek gets the angle advantage and takes him down. Balance is restored, back up to a 3-on-3. An enemy, with this map on the line here, are immediately going to slow down.
Yeah, and that's a good call right now. They keep favoring going towards B. This time around, though, JDM actually gets re-aggressive here in mid and finds Nifty, so that's a great find. Lucky being on 21 HP, 27 for Tarek, but the big thing is Tarek, he's really stepped up in this matchup. 34 and 19 for Tarek.
Tarek's sitting on a boatload of frags right now, so he's going to move out and pick up one more before he gets knocked down by Mainline. However, Mainline's revealed, and not only is he going to have to contend with JDM moving up towards Heaven right now, so he's stuck behind safe plant position, but in just a moment, he's also going to have Haze to deal with, who's lurking up behind him, now sitting in construction as he tries to creep his way out from the safe plant position. He does manage to circumvent JDM and push him. JDM handling another 1-versus-1. Nicely done by him, and that is going to close out the first map here, guys. 16-12 is going to be the score, and CLG will take things on their map.
Yeah, and that's the big part about it. CLG actually picking up their first victory in Pro League this season. They're 1-4 on the season, but if there was ever a time to turn things around, right now is the time. They got the qualifier all out of the way. Now they can focus on participating in Pro League and taking care of business as normal. So good job for them. Train coming up next for you guys. That will be the second map of this evening. And then following that up, we have a doubleheader with Liquid and Energy this evening as well. Looks like it is Dust 2 and where is Liquid? Dust 2 and Cobble. So those are the two maps for the Energy versus Liquid matchup, which is coming up after this CLG enemy matchup. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back with our second map, DE Train, coming up next.